Well, Toronto has been named one of the 2026 World Cup host cities.
For more on what this means for the city, we are joined by Andrew Weir, Executive Vice President of Destination Toronto. Andrew, good afternoon. Great of you to join us. This is not just a big sporting event, the world's biggest sporting event, unprecedented in Toronto, but this means so much for the economy, and it means a lot for when the games are done as well, right?
Yeah, an event like this has an immediate impact, but then it also has a very long tail to it. So, in the moment, there will be tens of thousands of people coming to the city. And some of that will depend a bit on what countries we're hosting here, what games. But there are countries like the UK or Brazil that their fans travel, and they travel in large numbers, and that can be very, very impactful for Toronto, as well as all the officials and the sponsors and the other official delegations that come as part of this. But that's just in the moment. And then when you look beyond that, there's a long legacy that these kinds of events have. Everything from some infrastructure upgrades that will be part of what is left behind. And part of what's important to this is demonstrating over and over again that Toronto is where big events happen. Toronto can produce big events, can mount them. They can be enormously successful here. And that helps generate the next one and the next one, because every one of these has foundational impact on our entire economy.
So, Andrew, as the Executive Vice President of Destination Toronto, how ready is Toronto as a destination for World Cup games, or how much work do we need to do to sort of get ourselves there in 4 years' time?
Well, there's always some infrastructure build to happen. I know between MLSE and the City of Toronto, I know there's a plan to get that done. But what's important here, I think, is that this is part of our DNA. Toronto is always ready to host global delegations and global events like this. We always say that whatever team you play for, you play a home game in Toronto, because we've got people from everywhere. And the World Cup always puts that on such great display. No matter who's playing, you see the cars with flags and the horns honking, and you can go to a bar and watch that team with their own community play. So there's something special about Toronto and the global nature of our people. And the World Cup really brings that out better than probably any other event could.
And Andrew, I know it's hard to picture because right now we're seeing still some pretty lengthy delays at Pearson Airport. The roads once again congested with construction and road closures, fixing up things for the summer. But do you think that Toronto will be ready in 4 years' time, as well as, the labor shortage brought on by the pandemic?
Yeah, there's concerns about the labor shortage, and certainly we're very concerned about some of the delays that have been at Pearson. I know there have been a number of steps taken over the last few days and few weeks to help address that, and those will be important. But look, this is a city where big events happen, and this is an important global city, and we can't be afraid of hosting big events here. We need to encourage ourselves and keep pushing ourselves to reach further and host more. And it's why we all live in a city like this, because we love when big exciting things happen here, and we can't be afraid of those things happening, and come at them not from the perspective of traffic, but from the perspective of the vibrancy that they bring to our city and the economic benefits they bring to the city for the long term.
Certainly recently, Andrew, we've seen the Pan Am Games, we've seen Invictus Games. You and I talked during the Raptors 2019 championship a few years ago, and those games really you've got a map behind you, but Toronto is on the map, and like you said, it becomes that destination. And let's talk about the NBA final specifically, what did that do for Toronto? I know we realized we went into a sort of pandemic shortly after that, but what did it do, and where did you see things going pre-pandemic, really?
Yeah, events like that really shine, I think, a light on the best of Toronto. What people saw when the Raptors were in the championship run and the parade, what they saw was an incredible outpouring of the enormous diversity of our community. And it was a level of vibrancy that no NBA city had ever achieved before. That scale of crowd, and this was the first city to host a Jurassic Park. Those viewing parties outside the stadium. Now, of course, it's everywhere, but that started here, and people remember that it started here. And hopefully we'll see a Blue Jays World Series run and more of these things. But the way the people. The way Toronto's diverse communities come together around and galvanize around events like this is something very powerful, very compelling. And the more we can show that on TV screens and phones and iPads around the world, then the better we'll be.
Yeah, the iconic Toronto skyline looks good right around the world for sure. Andrew Weir from Destination Toronto, always good to chat. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right.